Hello, guys. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is John, and on this channel, we talk about living in foreign lands, working there, and what you can also be doing to just make the most of it and live a meaningful life. May you please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing these videos. That's the only way you can support us, guys. And thank you so much for all those who have subscribed already. The channel is growing. Thank you so much. So, guys, when I left the private care home I was working for, I then started working at a very big referral hospital. At that hospital, my title was healthcare support worker. And in Zimbabwe, this is the equivalent of a nurse aide. So basically, my job involved supporting the nurses. They were actually my bosses there. They would give you instructions, tell you what to do. And it also involved helping patients, people who were not feeling well, who were admitted in the hospital, helping them with their personal care, giving them washes, just creating time to be with them so that they would get better eventually and go back to their homes. I did learn a lot in that environment, guys, and because it was a very multiracial, multicultural environment, the culture shocks were just many. What you would consider to be appropriate in your own country apparently was not appropriate in another person's country. I still remember even the food. Guys, as you know, in Zimbabwe, we like eating with our hands. So sometimes I would bring a traditional meal from home. And during breaks, when I would start eating with my hands, some of my colleagues would look at me and say, "What are you doing? Don't you have a spoon or a fork?" And guys, what I did not back off. I did not stop doing things that sort of had meaning in my life, because when I eat with my hands in the UK, for example, it makes me feel very connected to home. It makes me feel very African, if I can put it that way. So I also began to sort of teach them and tell them why I would eat with my hands. For example, when I was having sadza, which is a thickened porridge which you can eat with your hands, some call it pap. I would tell them that yes, you can use a fork and knife, but when I use hands, I feel more Zimbabwean. I feel more at home. And guys, to be honest, living in the diaspora, there are things that you still need to do, or things that you can continue doing, which are not very acceptable in that country, but to you, they bring you that connection, that that vibe, that even though I'm in this country, I'm still Zimbabwean, I'm still African. And guys, I'll tell my colleagues that, and some of them would actually say, tell us more about it. And some would even say, can I test that meal? That's what life is about, guys. It's not about maybe changing your cultural identity to suit the country that you are in, but also to just show that there is diversity. Maybe somebody has never seen someone speaking in Shona, they have never seen someone eating with their hands. So, yeah, guys, that's what I would do. And some of the culture shocks were where I come from. If you are getting into work, you can pretty much greet everyone. But in that place, I also got to know that some people, you would greet them and they would just go silent. So I also learned that in this country, it's not always where you're expected to greet everyone. Let's say you come into the workplace and some people are having their conversation, you can pass them and go to your office and not feel weird about it. Because in Africa, you can greet the whole street as you leave your home. You can be greeting everyone until you get to your destination. Such were the differences, guys, and I learned to appreciate other people's cultures. And whilst working there, guys, if you remember well, in the factory, some supervisors had complained that I was a bit slow on the assembly line. So when I was working at the hospital, this thing came back to haunt me again. So what we did in the morning, when we would help patients with washes, helping them wash and dress, you would go to a board where your name was written there. Then you would put a 1. If you've washed one person, you put 1. And if you have washed the second person, you put another one. So you could just count on the board and see how many people each person has washed. So I still remember this shift where I went to the board and I was putting a one, and I noticed that my other two colleagues were already washing their third and fourth patient. And I said, something should be wrong here. Am I that slow? Anyway, I continued doing my job. And when we finished the washes just before serving, I think it was lunch, when I came to the board, I realized that I had washed three patients, and one of my colleagues he had already done six, and the other one had done five, I think. So I knew that somehow, something was a bit wrong. Maybe I was a bit too slow again, but I said it should be okay. But later on, one of my colleagues told me that some people are complaining that you are very slow. And I still remember the shifts that followed. I would get there, try to be as fast as I can, but I would do three, four, sometimes five, but you'd find some have done six, seven, and thereabout. I was always the last. That's what I remember. There came a time when I was called by the nurse in charge, and she said, some of your colleagues have complained that you are a bit slow with washes. And I simply told you that I was trying to do my job, I was trying to be fast, but anyway, those were the numbers that I was coming up with. And just when I thought that she was going to come out and say, you are very slow, da 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 da, she brightened up. Then she said, but you know what? The families and the patients have been giving good reviews about your job, about the way you handle them, the way you work. And she said, in as much as you are not doing as much washes as the other guys, I'll keep you in this ward. It was an old people's ward, guys, and to me, it was very lovely because these are easygoing people. You learn a lot from them, wisdom from ages, something like that. So I really liked working there. And when she said the families and the patients were very happy, giving good reviews, I felt happy, guys. Whenever you do a good job, it just warms up your heart, just like the Bible says, guys, where it says, "Whatever you do, do it as unto the Lord. Do it as if God is watching you. Do it as if someone very important is watching you." So I felt happy about it. Then she said, "Yeah, you try to be fast, but you just continue doing a good job." And when I left, I actually realized later on that some of my colleagues would rush through patients, not give a proper wash, sometimes just to focus on certain parts of the body, not do a full wash. But for me, it was their way of doing it, but I still continued doing it the way I felt this is what they have trained us to do. And because the good reviews were coming, I realized I was doing a good job. So, guys, my encouragement is whenever you are given a job to do it very well. You never know who is watching. And it was at that time, guys, where I started seeing some good reviews about the work that I was doing. Some of the patients saying, he makes us happy, he makes us feel loved, he makes us feel cared for, we feel so secure. And I would hear that some of them would actually look forward to when I would be on shift. Because when you are working when we were working in that hospital, you'd come for about 3 or 4 shifts, go back home, then come back again. I worked in the mornings, and I really liked it. So I would start my shift at 8, then I would finish at 8. And what I can say, guys, people can forget what you said, they can forget what you did, but they would never forget how you made them feel. And that lesson has stayed with me up to now. Whenever I give someone a service, I try to do it to the best of my ability so that I leave a good impression in their mind. That's what it is about, guys, because you're serving other human beings. And while it's working there, just like at the care home, some of the patients would die, which was very sad. And some would recover and go back home, which made me also appreciate life, appreciate the time that you have got, because you never know when it's time to go upstairs, guys. You never know when it is the end. And I still remember at a shift where I was working, I was taking care of these about 5 or 6 men who were not feeling well. That cubicle where I was working in, where I was assigned, only had men. So there was this gentleman, and we began to talk, and we became very friendly. Talking to him, he was talking about his family, his son, the way he loved them, which sort of shows that just like any other person, guys, we tend to value the good relationships that we have with other people. But I still remember this very day when I came to my shift and the man was still there, still not feeling well. And I sat next to him because my table was just next to his bed. That's where I would take my notes and observe all the other beds. It was sort of my best station where I would come from and do whatever needed to be done and come back and sit down again. And at this time, he said, "Can I have a cup of tea?" Then I went and made a cup of tea and I gave it to him. And he said, "Can I come out? Can you help me come out of bed so that I can sit on a chair?" Then I did that. And then suddenly he started saying, "Can you help me back into bed?" And because I could not do it on my own, I asked another person to come and help me, and they came. And just as he was standing up, guys, he just collapsed to the ground. I still remember I was a bit confused. We did press the buzzer, which shows that there is an emergency. Because when someone falls in a care setting or a hospital setting, you need to call other colleagues so that you can help them, try to see what has happened to them, if they have broken any bones or whatever. So guys started coming down there, and I was told to pick one or two equipment by a doctor who had come there. Then I went. As I went there, when I came back with this equipment, I saw that the doctor's face had sort of changed, and the people around the men, you could see with their faces that something was not right there. As I approached, the doctor turned to me and said, "John, this person unfortunately has passed on." Just like that, guys. And I looked and I said, "I was talking to him just now. I even prepared a cup of tea for him, and he was talking about his son just now." And just like that, guys, he had passed on. And the nurse in charge came and said, "John, um, would you want to take a break?" Because they could see that I was affected by what had just happened. So I went and took a break. And while it's there, guys, that's when I said, so life can just be like that. One moment you're alive and the other moment you are dead, like that. Guys, what I'm saying is this environment taught me to value moments in life. Make the most of any daytime, make the most of any time that you have with your loved ones, because you never know when it is going to be the last time you are breathing, guys. And I still remember later in the afternoon, the son came through, and he asked to see me, and he asked what his father was talking about in his last moments. Fortunately, it was lovely stories, and yet the father had even talked about this son. And when I told him that, even though you could see that in his face he was in pain, but he smiled because probably he realized that his father loved him. And then he went on to tell me about some of the good experiences he had had with his father, the good times. And it was just lovely to see that. And then he said, "Thank you for caring for my father. Whenever I would come to see him, he would talk about you. Sometimes you would forget your name, but he would just describe you in the way that I would know that it's you." So yeah, it was good to see that, guys. And it was still whilst I was working there that one of my friends called Tinashe, because we communicated. He had come to the UK after me. Then he began to tell me that, "John, I found work as a business administrator in a care home." And I said, "How did you do that? You recently came to the UK." Then he told me about how he had prepared his CV, told the people, sort of mentioned that he had worked in a bank, he had done these things which are admin tasks and what have you. And he encouraged me to follow suit. And before he had said that, I had started inquiring about administrator jobs in the NHS, but I was not making much headway. So when he told me that, I said, "Oh, that's good." So guys, in the diaspora, you need other people to support you as well. You need those relations. such valuable relationships that can help you sort of to grow and develop. So I went back to my CV and I started posting my CV. And that's what led me to finally get to leave the hospital and start doing the work that I do now, which is sales in a care setting. All work and no play makes John a dull boy. I don't want to be a dull boy, so I go out and enjoy myself. I work hard and play hard. And on this day, I decided to go out and visit a place called the Southsea. I think we have talked enough about my work at the hospital and my transition into the sales department of a care company. I decided to just go on this day, guys, and try to see what interesting things I can find by the seashore. And I like traveling by bus whenever I can, because that way I don't get to stress about driving. I get to sit back and see the beautiful sights as I ride along. I was just in time, guys, to see the hovercraft departing from Southsea towards the Isle of Wight. This is a unique boat, guys, which starts its journey on dry land and ends up in the water. What a magnificent piece of engineering. It's amazing what the human mind can achieve. It was amazing, guys, to see the boat's powerful engines pushing it forward despite resistance from winds and the sea surface. This is what you need in life, guys, to just continue working harder towards your goals despite any challenges you might meet along the way. The hovercraft takes 10 minutes to complete the crossing, and Hover Travel, the company that runs this boat, has been in operation since 1965. 60 years on, guys, they are still in business. This is the consistency you need if you are going to achieve your goals and dreams in life. I did not want this video to be too long, guys, and in my next video I'll show you the other interesting things I found by the seashore. But guys, if you love my content, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing the videos. See you in the next video. Bye.